Ugh,
Huh?
what was that? All right, I'm gonna run upstairs now. I
Okay.
Oh, glory. Hold on.
Wednesday. All right, we're live. We're live with Let's Talk About It this evening. We got a great conversation. We hope that you will join in with us. Come on, tag somebody. Just, hit share, as well as, you can host a watch party. It's going to be on and popping. You can join into this conversation. It's going to be great. It is Let's Talk About It, and we are live. We've got Terry. Whoa. We've got Shawana.
Hello.
We've got the girls. So they're going to help me with the Let's Talk About It this evening. So, Let's Talk About It is about life conversations. It's just about sharing, just about any conversation. If you have conversation that you would like, all right, let's talk about it. Because let's come to, I believe you can just tune in on to Let's Talk About It with Alice, and you can get it that way, or Facebook. You can get it that way. So we want you to join in with us live on Let's Talk About It this evening. As our conversations are going, please join in. We're going to talk about some of the things that happened over the weekend. We might even talk about, our stimulus check. But the greatest conversation is, what do we value in this time and space that we're in? We're going to talk about value. What do you value? What do we value? And what does society, value? So we want you to join in this conversation. It's a good conversation. I heard something today in the message today that really resonated with me, that how people value different things. And we're going to share a real life story about something that someone valued in an accident, almost lost their life, and what was most important to them. Not their life. You'll be surprised. It wasn't their life. And so that's what we'll talk about this afternoon, okay? So please, go ahead on and hit the share button. Go ahead on and tag, just let someone know. Now, Let's Talk About It is on the air. Are y'all ready? Ladies, are we ready to go? We got some great things coming up. Also, my son is going to share this month.
Oh, yeah. He's going to come on next week, right?
Yes, he's going to be sharing his experience with, the thing that happened to him while he was in, while he was in the academy, the police academy. And I just felt that his story should be told, and just how that affected his whole life. You'll want to hear that. Also, we've got some men coming on that's going to be coming on later on this month as well. And so we got a lot of things that's going to come up. Also, we don't want to forget the 5 heartbeats. We still want to do that. You'll be surprised is what that's all about. So it's Let's Talk About It live discussion. Let's go with it. The music, we don't take any claims of it. We just use it to come on, Let's Talk About live. Thank you so very much. All right. Are y'all ready to go with this?
I am ready. Terry, you ready?
I'm ready.
Do you guys see it on your stream?
So it is streaming, and so we want to get it to Facebook Live.
Yeah,
because it is on Let's Talk About It. That it is on. So I want to check with it on Facebook. It should be on each other's page.
Let's check and make sure that we're
the page, and let's see if we're streaming on Shawana's page. And we are. Hallelujah, we are. So let's share this. Let's share this with our friends. Let's share this with everybody so they can come on and they have a chance to really talk about what is really going on this weekend. What was it? Terry, can you share with us about what was happening this weekend? I'd like to share an incident that happened that just really took me by surprise. Okay.
Well, this weekend is All-Star weekend, and a lot of people from out of town have flooded the city. And I was on my Instagram, and they said Detroit. Detroit people are taking over. And I also heard Chicago, but mostly Detroit people were taking over our little city, well, our big city.
Yeah.
But
I think the thing that really got me the most is the fact that Mayor Keisha Lance Bottom, because we haven't got past this, COVID, and then we're still dealing with that. And she put out a cry that do not come to the city. In other words, we're not ready for this yet. And she said, please stay home, watch it on TV, because everybody cannot get into the in the where were they, Phillips Arena? Is that what they're on?
right.
Right.
No. Yeah, they're at State Farm, at the State Farm
Arena. I'm sorry,
Right.
It used to be Phillips, but State Farm
But
Arena.
the prices are so ridiculously high, and it's crazy.
But they weren't going to
also-
let but a few in anyway because of social distancing. So it
No,
wasn't
right.
going to be a lot of people.
So a lot of people are there? Is that what you're
Well, a
saying?
lot of people are in our town, period. Well, my daughter said she was at the mall yesterday, last night, and she was like, Mom, the mall is packed. She said, Cumberland is packed. I said, what? She said, yeah, you can tell it's a lot of out-of-towners because who dresses up going to Cumberland? She said, we just dress casual. She said, these people got full face makeup, outfits, like they go into the club and they're at the mall shopping. She said the lines were long. Foot Locker had a line. American Eagle had a line. A lot of the different stores, Jimmy Jazz had a line, and they were in line, I guess, to get their outfits for last night.
Talking about outfits, I definitely want to bring this in. Alfred, my son, was on 75, coming onto 285, and there was this bad accident. One car cut off another guy, and then another car went under a tractor trailer. And so he said that he pulled up, he said nobody was helping this particular car that had flipped. And so he pulled his truck in front of the car, and he said that he jumped out to go and help the people that was in the car because he was afraid that the car was going to fall on and crush the young man and the two men that was in the car. So he jumped out, and being former law enforcement. So when he jumped out, he, tried to get the door open. He couldn't. The guy was hanging upside down in the car, and he told him to hold still. And he said that, let me bust the window out. And so they bust the window out. He did. And he was able to pull the door open. And when he pulled the door open, the guy, he had to, hold the guy and catch him because he didn't know whether his bones were broken, and it looked like bones were broken and everything. And he was bleeding all over the place. So pull the guy out of the car and try to get him situated on the ground. And then there was another gentleman in the car. He thought that maybe somebody climbed in on the other side, but it was the young man's father. And so when he pulled the guy out, the guy said, man, I messed up my polo suit. Now he wasn't thinking about his life. He was thinking about a polo suit.
A
I was
polo
on my way downtown because we're gonna, we're going to the clubs and we're going to the we're gonna, grill, and look at I just bought this polo suit. Probably was a knockoff.
This guy just got in a car accident and he's
and he's bleeding all over the place, lying on the ground and saying his polo suit, his white polo suit was messed up. And of course, he's from Chicago. They were a bunch of from Chicago. And he was concerned about his polo suit. And my son said to him, man, you need to thank God for your life. Because, you almost lost your life and you thinking about a polo suit.
Yeah.
And your reefer you got in the car, and your gun you got on the floor. Wow. So what you need to be concerned about, I hope you got license to carry. He said, and then the reefer, and when the police come, if that's not gone, you gone. And you're thinking about, he said,
you think about a polo
suit. That's why tonight we wanted to talk about what people value. He wasn't valuing his life. He was valuing the white polo.
Which can be replaced. You can buy another one.
Let's talk about it.
Jesus.
What is that about? What is that about?
I don't get it. I mean, people put emphasis on things, and things can be replaced. You're not going to take this stuff with you. When you die, that's not going with you. It's not going casket unless you say, hey, put this in my casket. I don't know. But I
the-
know it ain't going with you.
But this was the thing that he said. And so as he was talking to the guy about, man, you know, just, you know, you ought to be thanking God for your life. Somebody walked up, don't talk to him. You know, don't tell him about that. Come on. He said, well,
Don't tell him about
he said, that's all I need. I wanted him to understand his life is worth more than the polo suit.
Polo.
So now we can't even talk about or share it with people. Thank God for this. You got to keep it quiet. Let's talk about that too. You can't tell people that.
They
What
said
do
don't.
people value? Shawana, are you there?
Wow. So don't say anything about God or something. Is that what you're saying?
Well, apparently that's basically what the guy was saying. So what I'm saying
Please.
is,
You could have
yeah.
lost your life just that quick, polo suit and all.
So Alfred got cut up, but he
He's
got,
okay.
because he's tried to help the guy, and people were just standing around. But this had traffic backed up for hours on the expressway yesterday.
I'm sure it always
And the guy's lying on the ground talking about his white polo suit that he was wearing downtown to the All-Star game.
Yeah, man said that he was just taken aback by the guy when he said this guy was like pinned up under his steering wheel and pinned up under the dashboard and getting out bleeding. And he's all, worried about barbecuing and we just stupidity.
They have more respect for him. If he would have been worried about his car, my car, oh my God, my car. But you're talking about some clothes?
A polo suit.
And you didn't have to worry about the car because he also indicated to him, say, hey, your car can be replaced.
That's true.
Your polo suit can be replaced, but a life can never be replaced.
It cannot.
Cannot.
But I'm just saying, over some clothes or car, it's
just
what can you do with a polo suit? Besides
what I'm saying is that what do we value? Let's talk about that. What do people value in life? What do people feel that validates them? Is it their clothes that validates them? Is it their the house that you live in validate who you really are? What really validate who we are? What are our value system? What has it gone to? Is it things are more important than life? Things more important than life? I don't think so.
No.
You can never replace a life. You can always get something. You can file bankruptcy and they take your house. You can always get another house.
Right.
Providing your credit, you get your credit up the bar. But you can always get another house. You can always get a new clothing, but you cannot. When will we get back to valuing life?
Think about it. In the midst of COVID, I think, if anything, people at least initially started talking about having more value for life because people were dying and are dying left and right. Remember when it was 9/11, when that whole thing happened in the country, and all those lives were lost, in that one event, in that one day. And it seemed like everybody, were, unified and aligned and just valuing each other during that period of time. And then maybe a month later, it was less of that. People just kind of turned the curve and just start going back in the same direction. To me, that's how COVID-19, it is playing out as well in a lot of ways, because, you're sad, you're, shocked, you're going through the emotional piece, you're thinking that you're valuing life. And then now, you turn in the curve and now there's no more value really on life. It's almost like people have forgotten, about the damage that COVID-19 caused, relationship damage, lives in general, jobs, you name it. Things have just been shattered So to answer your question, Mom, value, what do we value? We know the right words to say, but in reality, what do people really value? You know,
We've got some things in the comment. So someone said, Alfred said, you should value life more than things. And that has changed my perspective. He said it changed his perspective even more on life just to see that alone. And so that changed his perspective, to see something like that, that someone so young and his father was in the car with him. Now, this is the other part that really got me. Your father's in the car, you young, and you've got your gun in the car, and you've got your reefer down there, and you're worried about your reefer because you needed it to go downtown. And the father was in the car. Come on, really? I mean, what kind of messages are we sending to the next generation? Okay.
Bad messages.
Yes. Yes.
Bad
yeah,
messages. Because
that was
unfortunately, they're
shocking.
gonna think this. They're gonna think the same way. They're gonna put more
Yes.
emphasis and value
So
on things and all of that instead of what their lives.
And
come
other
on.
people's life, because what did man do?
Exactly.
Man, we're in the midst of COVID-19, Corona, and he valued another person's life over his life to take a chance to go and
Right.
help this
Absolutely.
guy,
Absolutely.
you
Because
know.
the first thing I asked, did you have your mask on? He said, oh no, I jumped out with my mask on. He had his son to stay in the truck. And he said, I jumped out with my mask on. He said, but I did get, cut. And he said, the other guy was bleeding as well. He said, but I protected myself.
But
And
it
so
lets you
you're
know they
absolutely right.
valued life more than their own to put
Yeah,
yourself in a situation, other people standing around looking, and you made a
absolutely.
decision, and I applaud you, man, for doing that. He made a decision and he said, no,
Absolutely.
I value this
You got
man's life.
involved.
I'm going to go help him out. I'm not thinking about COVID-19. Yes, I got my
Yeah,
mask
Right.
on, but I'm going to get close enough to this man that I need to help him.
Right.
yeah, because he
Humanitarian.
said that he was thinking that the car could have fallen on him and crushed him. And that's all he had in his mind, that if this car fall, it would crush, the gentleman that was in the car.
Hmm.
So COVID probably went out of his mind for a minute
Right.
because your heart was in the place of helping someone else. And
Mhm.
we still got people who actually care, who
Yeah.
Right.
genuinely care. And he could have kept riding like a lot of others. He could have just kept sitting there because many of them were sitting there. And we're talking on, one of the busiest expressways, in Atlanta.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so that was something, to see. But it just signified that something that we heard today in a message in terms of value. We are value, understanding our value, but then also other people value. But what are our values? What are we valuing in this time? Let's talk about that. Someone, hit us in the comment and say, hey, these are the things that I see since COVID-19. And I've always been a person that valued, as we talked about, family, but even more friendships, relationships, valuing those.
Mhm.
Ready to release what I have to help somebody else. Valuing,
Right.
is more important to give than to receive.
Right.
Valuing, ensuring that my spiritual life is in place and intact, because we don't ever know what day at the
Right.
expiration date of our lives. We never know
Right.
that. We don't. Only the angels in heaven know that. But the
Mhm.
point is that how much have we valued other people and try and wanted to see other people, grow, other people, feel their self-worth. That's the part, is helping others. That's what our life is all about.
Mhm.
Dr. Miles Monroe actually said this in a book. He wrote this before. I heard him say this, that, we need to, when we leave this world, we ought to be empty. I heard the minister quote that today, and I knew immediately that was Dr. Miles Monroe. He said, but you need to be empty, that you have emptied out everything that's in you, and imparting into others and giving us yourself, as the song say, give yourself away. But we're now in such a selfish society.
Me,
We
myself,
don't
and
want
me.
me, myself, and I, and me, my little family, and I.
Me, my
And
four, and
this
no
is
more.
no more. And what is that?
You hear that?
You're comfortable where you are, and it's great, to have, these things. God is not mad with us that we obtain things, but he said something significant. If you are trying to obtain things, okay, and you value, this goes back to a scripture that says, where your heart is, where your treasure, there where your
Treasurers in
heart
your
is,
heart.
that's where your treasures would be. And if your heart, your treasures are in things, more of this and more of that, and not helping nobody with any of that, or giving any of that, then you have valued the wrong thing, because Jesus cared more about us to die. So, but what is most valuable? That really struck me when I heard that you're almost about to lose your life and you are concerned about a white polo sweatsuit.
It just doesn't even sound real,
That floored me. A
literally.
sweatsuit, really, a
Yeah.
sweatsuit. All right, and
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it was he just bought it. So I just think that it probably just came from the flea market. Could have been, knockoff. How many of us are really walking around, well, I can't say, with these things? These things doesn't validate your self-worth. I think the minister was saying today, and I just kind of took it, kind of paraphrase it. If you are walking around with, he said, a Louis Vuitton bag, you don't have no money in the bank.
Something's wrong with that.
Exactly.
Really? Do your clothes speaks to your value? Somebody said, question is, what is the solution? We value things, like you said earlier. One solution is far-fetched, but if this world, let me get it all out. I love that. So if this world would go to a life for a life, or if you steal off with a hand, there has to be a change in our laws that will cause people to think before they kill someone over something that could be resolved. That's what Andre said. He said, what is the solution? What have we as as a people, and I won't just say any given race, but I think that all of us are probably guilty at some point. We came into a time where, we're able to buy and to have, but then we also came into a time where it just kind of made us a little bit, greedy. What the solution is that we would care more about others than we do ourselves. Kind of like what the scriptures say, that do unto others as you would have them to do unto you. Be gracious. I know we can't turn back the hands of time. You know that song, right? Turn back the hands of time. If I could just turn back the hands of time. We can't turn the time back where it took a whole village, for us to live. You wish we could get back to that, where everybody cared about everybody. And, if somebody didn't have somebody else over here, you wish that this generation could have experienced that, because that was a great time. So the solution, he said, one solution is far-fetched, but if this world would go to a life for a life, or if you would steal off with a hand, there has to be a change in our laws that will cause people to think before they kill. Well, you take it back to the scripture. The Old Testament talks about that, and the eye for an eye and blah, blah, blah. But after Jesus came, he did away with that law. We have something within us, the Holy Spirit, when we invite him in, that will help us to make right decisions and to be more caring about others. And I think that's what the church comes in at, that if we could be a witness and really show forth the love of Jesus Christ in such a way, like Alfred, he did say to the young man, you should value your life more than your outfit. I mean, there's no other way to put it. That was a witness by itself.
Right.
Gave that young man something to think about, and hopefully he will. So we can't go to the eye for eye. And I love what he said, that, then if you kill somebody, you take a life, then a life will be taken. But that's not.
It look like that's what they need to go back to.
Yeah, that's it. It sounds so. It sounds like something like that.
Right. Where there's fear, there's no fear, and you don't want to live in a fear-based society. But there's something to what he said in that. I mean, if you think about it, in some of the other countries,
people don't fear nothing. That's why they do stuff.
Yeah.
They don't fear. They don't fear. They don't even fear
There's
God.
no fear. Derek said, he said, everything goes back to just simply valuing each other.
Right.
And then when you teach your children this is where it comes in at, that people were not teaching their children that. Mm-hmm. It goes back to parenting 101. We're going to talk about some of those things, that when you teach them, to be respectful to others, to care about somebody else's things, and not, that doesn't belong to you. Those kinds of things, that starts there. But I remember and recall back in the early 90s, and hear me when I say this, that all down through the years that young people have had babies, right? But they had their grandparents, their parents there to help them. But so many young parents had babies who had no parenting skills, so they weren't able to impart those simple things into their lives. And so, they just cute baby, and they play with them. The children can curse, they can do whatever they want to do. And we laughed at it and thought it was cute. And then after they get up, we train these monsters to get up, and these things begin to happen. We wonder,
they turn into little monsters, as you say.
Exactly.
They become these little cute things, and then they turn into these little monsters because you haven't trained them from birth.
And Alfred said that your values are the things that you believe are important in the way you live and work. That's a good one. He say, and then he said, they should determine your priorities, and deep down, they are probably measures you.
The measures you use to tell
if your life is turning out the way you want it.
The core
I love what he said. Core what?
Core
values.
Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about core values.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. It's going to be good.
Stuff.
When you think about core, what are core values? What people come up with, you come up with core values. But even if it was something that I didn't know, and I saw somebody else do something that made sense, and I thought, you know what, I'd like to adopt that and do that. You know what I'm saying? So, so we look at our core values, just plain old respect, thank you, all these things. So we got to come up with values that we don't have to come up with them. They're already there. We just need to exercise values and then help others to understand that. It's just walking it out. It's just doing it. Okay. So, I mean, I love it. Anybody else in the comments? I love that. Andre, you are right on target, which makes a lot of sense. Alfred, you've been on target, and Derek, that was on target. So let's get some others. Let's get some more. What do we got going?
What do you say, Mom? What are your core values?
My core values, and that's a good one. My core values are respecting everyone. And my core values are, if it doesn't belong to me, it doesn't belong to me, and I'm not going to do anything to take it. I also have a core value that I might want something, but I'm not going to do anything to get it.
Right.
I'd rather work for it, and I'd rather wait and not put myself in a position where I cannot function on a daily basis, because that's on my mind that I gotta pay for it and I gotta do it. I don't like that. I don't like having to stress over something that I don't need to stress over. So my core values are respecting others, doing unto others as I would have them to do unto me. I just kind of stick with the scriptures and kind of roll with that. And I guess because I gave my life to the Lord at 18 years old, it just kind of embedded in me to do that. And just, respect.
One of your other ones is honor. That's what you taught us, honor. Yeah. Honor our, the elderly,
Yes. Respect
honor,
those always. Even if you don't agree with someone that's older, you can always be respectful and just listen. Right. That's the wisdom of it, is to listen. We don't always have to give a word, but I think that what we see now is so much disrespect. Here's another one. I was in the, the beauty supply store yesterday, and I was just blown away. So the line was, a little bit long. So I walked around, came and stood in line, and all the young ladies that was ahead of me, of course, oh my God. So they had, and I'm not knocking anybody, but what they had a lot of, tattoos on. They had the bedroom shoes. You wear your bedroom shoes everywhere now. So, that's just one thing. You just wear whatever. And I remember the time my girls couldn't walk out the door with their hair rolled in their hair. You certainly couldn't, you need to walk out and represent. That's what I always felt.
No hair rollers, no nets, no scarves.
No.
Looking half crazy.
Just represent.
You said you never know who you might run into.
Exactly.
No PJs.
This young lady, they let children wear PJs, like that's cute. The PJs to school. Now what? Come on, people. Anyway, this really
okay, Mom. So let's back up on that one. So with the PJs to school, that's like they're doing like story time and so they're just making it intimate. So that one,
I'm not knocking it because we're in a new day and we're in a new hour. I'm not knocking. I am just what I can say. I'm glad it wasn't on my watch. When my children was coming up, they didn't have that. But things do change. God doesn't change, but his methods of doing things. So if that's a way, that's fine. I'm not knocking that, wearing that. But what about, grown people in their pajamas outside?
Right.
I agree. And looking straight, like they just walked out of their bed, climbed out of the bed, and
let me tell you what's so crazy.
Went to a store. That's hideous.
I bought my brother a pair of pajamas, and I'm getting back to my conversation. I bought my brother a pair of pajamas for Christmas. Nice pajamas. I'm telling you, I to go everywhere to find men nice pajamas, nice PJs. And so he never did wear them, wouldn't wear them. And then one day he said, well, can you take me to the store so I can buy this shirt? So he was trying to buy a shirt to match the pajamas. And then later my sister told me, you know what happened to the pajamas? He had them on with his tennis shoes and the shirt that he went out and bought.
He must have not have known.
He did. No. He didn't know they were pajamas because I told him I bought him the pajamas. He had pajamas on there. He knew. But he wanted to wear them. So I'm just saying, it was just too funny to me. It was funny. I thought, no, he did not. Not took him to the store to buy the shirt, but I thought it was for a pair of jeans. No, it was for the pajamas, y'all. It was funny. Okay. But, when you look at values and getting back to that, and someone said amen to that, getting back to our core values.
Okay, so what happened with the young ladies in the store?
And that's what I was getting ready to say. In the beauty supply store. So these were young ladies, and one particular lady, she just every other word she was saying S. And I kept thinking, I mean, every other word. Yeah, well, I was just wondering about that. And girl, that S don't look right. That just every other word. And I know she must have said 11 words. And I'm thinking like, Jesus. And I could not believe that.
Yeah, but
it blew me. Yeah. Then she turned around and talked to somebody in line. She would say, the next word would be that. And I thought, God, what have we come to? And this is a young lady. This was just a part of her vocabulary.
Wow.
It's a part of a lot of us vocabulary, Mama. You ain't heard nothing.
Yeah. Right.
That's just little.
Can you read in the chat, Shawana?
Hi. Let me see if I have an update
Alfred.
to it. Let's see. No updates yet that I see.
Okay, good. So that's it. Let's, values is very important. And I'm saying my hope is that as we are training our next generation, that we're teaching them basic values. What I always say when it comes to, and I know this is not a parenting session or anything like that, but, understanding, I believe one of my core values is being dependable. You can count on me. Right. It's being loyal. Okay. One of my core values is being accountable, that I will be accountable for my actions and I will not make any excuses for it. Okay. And one of my core values is responsibility, that I am responsible for me and I'm responsible for what I do. And that, I would take responsibility. Those are core values, but not only are those core values, those are character traits that must be built within young people in order for them, to be, to move about in this life and be successful.
But it's not just the young people, it's all of us. Yeah, everybody. It's every one of us, young and old.
Time is another one. Time you cannot get back. You cannot get time back. Once you waste it, you can't get it back.
That's exactly what, the minister was saying today about time. He said, value your time. We don't have a lot of time as we think we do. I can say for sure, I have more time that's behind me than I have before me. I got to make what's before me. I got to make it good. I got to do what I need to do and make it good, And that's another thing. It's not wasted time. He said, you spend 4 hours watching, your favorite movie and these things on TV in a day's time. How much time are you putting knowledge in your head? How much time are you spending reading? How much time are you spending, investing in yourself and investing in what goes into you so that what comes out will be something of great value? Those things are important. Mona put something in. Yes.
So it looked like Ramona, she said values are important. You don't have to have the same values as others, but you must have some to keep you focused, grounded, and able to move forward doing the right thing. That's some good stuff, Mona.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, my value system may not be somebody else's value system, and that's understandable. We don't all come up in the same household. Some of us, come up, in different environments. Some have 2-parent families, some have one, some, whatever. Prayerfully along the way that you will get a sense of understanding that, I need to have a value system. So what is it that people, and I always ask, what is it that people will really, really know about you when you come into a room or when you walk in? You bring value when you walk in. Everybody is valuable now. Make no mistake about it. God created all of us to that we are valuable in the earth, but we must realize and make that value come forth. It is our responsibility to do that. What is it that I need to do so that I can help not only value myself, but help bring value to other people? What is it? Do you compliment people? Do you say thank you? Have you complimented those who helped you along the way, who have been a part of your life, a part of your journey? Those things are very important.
Yeah, something that a friend of mine always says, Rick, he always says, find, follow, and fulfill your purpose.
Wow.
Yeah, such a powerful find, follow, and fulfill your purpose. And it goes back to what you were talking about. We all have a birth date and an expiration date. And what is happening with that dash in the middle is really, what are you doing to add value to your life, to others' lives? And it's not even just about your life. It's really, what are you doing to add value to others that you encounter on a daily basis? And because we're all impacting somebody in a group of people, whether it's in our circle or in the other circles that you come around at some point in time, whether it's on your job or with your children, and then they are impacting somebody based on what you've said to them and what you've imparted into them. So we're all impacting somebody. So the question is, what kind of value are we imparting into others, that we're, whether, in our house or outside of our house, so that they can then in turn impart that same value into someone else. And to your point, it's just so important. Values, as Mona said, are very important.
Yes, very important. Terry. Yes.
Yeah. With me, time management, being respectful, and honor, and I try to teach my grandkids that as well, because they seem to have a hard time with time. And I told them, I said, that's a life skill. I mean, that's something that you're going to use all of your life. Right. You have to be somewhere on time. You can't just get up and rush at the last minute and think that things are going to be okay. No, you have to get up in a timely manner to get prepared, because you want to be prepared wherever you go. But you can't, get up at the last minute trying to get prepared. And then another thing is respect, the sarcasm and all that. You have to respect, your elders. But if they're not telling you to do anything wrong, then be respectful and do what they ask you to do. Don't, give all the pushback and all that. And I just think that, a lot of times we have to teach our children life skills, basic life skills, so that they'll know and be prepared when they turn 18 and go out into the world. They won't be in shell shock.
Yeah. Right. Wow, that is powerful. Time management and just, basic life skills. Alfred said that's a new view. It is a new view. We just, have to look at it that way. If we're in a position where we can help pour into others and help train others, we really should do that. Mona said, not just respect elders, but those who have rule and authority over you. That is so true. Now, that's another topic. I mean, even for this time and another time and another time and another time, because the thing is that people tend to have a problem with authority. Why? Why is it that we have authority in following instructions or submitting? It's all about submitting to one to the other. And
humility.
I learned something the other day, and they got the new buzzword, and the new buzzword is cultural humility. And I was on this webinar, and it was people from all over the world. And I said, that's a new buzzword, but it's an old word. Humility is an old word. But now it's cultural humility. They're not calling it cultural sensitive. They're calling it cultural humility. How about that? And it's just a matter of submitting one to another or to those. And all of us have probably at some point in our lives have struggled with that. Because you know why? Why does young people struggle with it when they get between that teenagers age? They struggle with that. They struggle with, who's going to be in charge. And if parents are not careful, they will be in charge and you'll be in charge.
Yes, right. That's right. Right.
And that's a struggle. So parents almost have to, you've got to
You got to both go
state your position.
Right.
But the point is that, and even other people said, I demand respect, but you don't have to. Respect should be something that's earned.
Mm-hmm.
By the way you conduct yourself and carry yourself and respect others.
And you give respect.
And give respect.
You give respect.
Yeah. You don't have to walk in and say, hey, y'all gonna respect me today.
No. That's when you least likely, you're just kind of like, okay. Andre said, first, I like to say for the few times I've watched you guys, it's been a blessing. So continue. Don't despite small beginnings. This is big. Do continue. Values are simple. Just do right as a child. You learn from wrong. That's in all things. Exactly. It's just do right.
That's good, Andre. Just do the right thing.
The right thing.
Right.
Do
the right thing.
And just do what's right. Mm-hmm. And when you do what's right, I always say right will come back to you. It's called what we call, if you give, it'll come back. So when you give respect, respect will just come back. Mm-hmm. And even if someone disrespect and don't respect, I'm still okay with that. You know why?
Because you don't have to disrespect them.
I don't have to disrespect them.
Right.
This is where we are with this kind of conversation. It's just life conversations, just talking about what's going on in our lives and trying to shed some light on some things that's really happening and understanding our value, but also understanding and knowing that other people should be valued. And we have a responsibility to value others, you see, and in valuing others is submitting to each other. And that's, submission to authority, because, a lot of things that we have that's going on, even as it relates to racism and things like that, and police brutality, and understanding that when they say defund the police department, and then saying get rid of the anti-police department. Right. But if you got someone that's in crisis, that they will have somebody on staff that can go out and deal with someone that might be in a mental crisis, that kind of thing, to have someone to go with and escort the police there. But a part to that, in terms of that, if we respect the law, and sometimes you got lawbreakers on the law enforcement, right? You got those. But all in all, when a police, I remember as I was young, and if a police stopped me and I felt like I didn't run, I wasn't, what do you call it, speeding, right. Then they would just say that, you were speeding. Then I'm not signing the ticket. You were wrong. I had to grow. You were wrong. If he stopped you, it's okay, officer. Thank you very much. You're absolutely right. If you want to argue your point, go, into the courts. Mm-hmm. But to just sit there and then go back and forth with the officer, he is the law. Okay, he's the law. And and when I was young, we young and we got our license and we think we bad and all that. And, we want to buck the system. So I had to learn, be respectful. And in learning that, and when I gotten stopped before, except when I got the $700 ticket, which was a super speeder, I didn't think I was speeding. I was trying to pass another car that was going slow. However, I got the super speeder's ticket, okay? But I'm saying I didn't fuss about it. But when I was younger, we did silly things. But as you become older, you have more of a mind to do what's right. Just be respectful.
So Duffy wrote, I have always raised my kids to respect God, mothers, grandparents, elders, preachers, teachers, policemen. You have to be intentional when you're raising kids. I covered everything. That's good, Duffy. Exactly.
Duffy.
That's so important.
Let's talk about it, because those things right there is what every parent, probably would strive to do. I did the very same thing. Respect. Please respect your elders. And I know that a long time ago, yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am was, all out the window. And it's okay if you want them to say yes, no, yes, ma'am, or no, ma'am. It's not going to kill them if they say that either. But just to be respectful for all those areas that Debbie talked about, to respect God, to respect your mothers and your fathers, respect your grandparents, respect all elders. And that doesn't mean just old people, but those that are older than you, that even on jobs or wherever you go, school or what have you, respect the preachers, the teachers, respect the policemen. We have that obligation to be intentional, as Debbie said, be intentional about it. For you young mothers, be intentional. Be intentional about raising them. As Terry said, teaching them those basic life skills and teaching them those survival skills. Those are skills that they gotta have. They need life skills. They need, those skills that's going to help them to survive in this society that we are in.
Can I add something to the respect? So to me, the respect also goes in addition to all of these people, but it also goes to strangers, people that you don't even know. It goes to people that the haves and the have-nots. It's not just respecting those that are senior to you or they seem to be prestigious or whatever, but it also goes to people that absolutely have nothing. It's just respect is respect, and you give it and extend it to any person that you come in contact with. That's the honor that you give to everybody. So that's probably the addition to that. But what are we talking about next week?
Man, we got a lot to talk about next week. Well, remember, testimonial next week. We're going to have people on that's going to be giving testimonial about various things of things that have happened in their life and how they overcame it. And if you yourself have overcame a traumatic experience, please share that in the comment, because we would love to talk about it. We'd love to bring you on if you want to, but we would love to be able to, talk about it, not necessarily calling out any names or anything, but this is an experience and this is how that person overcame that, because these things help us. Somebody else might be going through something like that, and this would help them to get through it. So next week is the testimonial week, a Sunday, and I'm just too excited about it because, if Alfred come on and tell his story, and let me tell you, I will not give way, because we know what happened within that. And, when you're young and you suffer, something that just changed the entire course of your life, and you have to deal with that mentally, emotionally, to include physically, you have to deal with that. And how do you deal with those things?
Right.
It can happen to any of us, but it has happened to, those that, are part of our family. And so we like to share that. Andre said, what's the actual time? We start at 5, Andre, 5 o'clock sharp. And again, if you've got a great testimony, if you got something that you could share that God brought you through, and I don't want to put it any other way because we can't give credit to anyone else. Thank God for the doctors that he used, their hands, but God brought you through. Please be willing to share that. Be willing to share that. So we're excited about it. That's going to be next week. So there's still yet great things to come. We are building this, and we're intentional. You understand? We are intentional because this is a part of purpose. And so we're walking in our purpose to do something that the girls would come on with me. You don't know how it was to get my girls, but I'm enjoying it because they're even testimonies of their own personal life, and as well as mine, that we can share. I'm so transparent. I share my life. There's, there's no hidden secrets, because I feel that my testimony will bless somebody else and help other people to overcome. When I overcame cancer, that's my testimony. Cancer at 18 years old, and I'm still here today. And I am glad about it, how God did that. I mean, so that I could finish my course. And Paul said, we want to finish our course and we want to finish it strong. And we want to keep the faith. And that's where I am with that. So I'm saying to you, join us at 5 next Sunday. We have got something great for you. It is going to be testimony. Again, reach out to any one of us. If you really, really want to share your testimony, you can. And anything else, this right here is an open forum. You got something great that you want others to hear, just put it in the comment. Also, please share this with others. You know, let them know that Let's Talk About It with Alice and the girls. We're on, and we're going to be moving forward. We're going to be streaming this to YouTube, and we're going to send it as far as it can go. We've got listeners over in the UK that's listening in on us, and we're excited for them. Debbie and Prophet Ali, thank you guys, because they're up at 3 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the morning, and they're logging on to us. That's just, you know, that speaks volume. Their time is not our time. It's like, what time is it there, Shawana?
It should be for Debbie 11 o'clock at night, almost midnight for her.
Yeah, almost midnight, and they will log on and be with us. So share this. Thank you, my Tawanda Little. Awesome. She said, I am so grateful for Alice J. Well, thank you. That's my baby too. But I got, you know, women that's all over that just been a blessing in my life. And hopefully I've been a blessing in their lives as well, and some young men as well. And so I just thank God for all of you that views Let's Talk About It. It is about life conversations. It is about life discussions, just every day. All these things are real. And what we talked about today was real. What do we value? Do you value a polo suit over your life? I think not.
I think not either.
Right? I think not. Hey, value each other. Hear about each other. Share with each other. We can build a stronger community, stronger families, if we go back to those simple things as valuing each other, respecting each other, submitting to each other. All right. You have just listened to Let's Talk About It.
Let's talk
Share
about
this
it
again. We're excited. I am excited. And, you know, just hit us up and let us know, hey, I would love to share testimony. I would love, you know, to share what happened, you know, how I went through this and how I got over this and how I came through this. What traumatic experiences that you have encountered or trauma, but yet God brought you through that. All right, you have.
Don't forget to like and share, like the page, like and share the video, and Let's Talk About It with Alice.
Yes, please, and subscribe. Right?
Yes, you could subscribe.
Well. Please subscribe. You are going to help us, you know, launch into the deep. And launching into the deep is by sharing life experiences, talking about those conversations, whether it be educational. We're going to have fun on the platform. We're talking about heritage. We're talking about culture. As I said again, cultural humility. That blew me away. And now this was not a church call I was on. This was a webinar.
Wow.
Of professionals. And I said, oh, okay. Cultural
humility.
Yeah, that got me. I said, all right. So we're excited about it. Thank you so very much. And as we always say, love,
peace,
and increase.
All right. This is Let's Talk About It. We love you. Thank you for viewing. And again, share this with someone. Let's log in on next Sunday. Did you have some more in the comments?
I think we got everything.
Well, last and not least, families are coming back together. Yes.
Oh, yes. And for Priscilla said, you are valuable. Your testimony is of value to someone.
Wow.
Exactly. That's powerful.
Yes, that's powerful. Thank y'all so much. I'm just so honored the fact that you guys take this time. We are off.